The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's an NFL Draft Preview edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the SWBC studios. Welcoming everybody. We've got the whole cast and crew ready for you to rock today. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback with Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. We are 48 hours away. A little over 48. But we're getting there. 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days away from the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Fine.
We're about
It is
58 hours away.
here.
Yeah.
By the next time that we'll end up getting back on these airwaves for Talking Cowboys, the draft will be in the books. It will figure out
How many new
exactly
players you have?
who's going to be in the building.
Maybe 10 new players, baby.
But not only just the draft picks. Mm-hmm. As soon as that last pick goes off the air,
UDFAs.
woo, UDFA start going crazy, son.
Undrafted free
That's when the agents really start working. That's when them agents get their checks because they have to hop on the phones and
Don't
wheel
tell
and
them
deal.
that upstairs, man, because I got a concert to go to that night.
It's
Is it, you going to Kendrick?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I got my tickets.
Oh,
On SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T
That's right.
Stadium.
Absolutely,
take a
dude.
look. How much are those tickets right now?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Rent? I believe it.
I don't know about You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you really?
I mean,
Stop it.
maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
That's not my
Stop
type of
it.
cash. I don't even look that thing up. NFL draft coming up on Thursday. Today we're going to give you our 7-round mock draft. It'll be my mock draft. We'll kind of break it down here in a little bit. We're also going to take your phone calls for the first time in about a month or a month and a half. We're 888-855-2297. If you want to hop on the phone lines, and we'll get your draft questions only today. And we're going to talk about the NFL draft a little bit. But before we get into all that, let's get into some news and notes. Patrik Walker.
Yeah, well, it's been predictably slow over the past couple of weeks as the Cowboys come out of their version of free agency shopping and going to get prepared for the NFL draft. But they continue to pick up offensive linemen, doing their best to try to not use a premium pick, e.g. first or second round pick, on an offensive lineman, which gives Isaiah the anime eyes. Gives Isaiah the anime eyes. So what they were able to do here recently in the past few days is they signed Hakeem Adeniji. He is a Garland native, so he is a little bit of a homecoming for him.
I can't believe it.
Don't you do it. I knew you were going to do it. He's a former 6th-round pick of the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020. Spent the majority of, if not the entirety of his rookie contract with the Bengals before he bounced around a little bit. 2023 with the Vikings, 2024 with the Browns, and now he comes to the Cowboys in 2025 as an offensive tackle. Has a little bit of versatility, but look for him to go to the outside. Whereas Robert Jones does not want to go to the outside. He wants to be on the interior. So however you look at it, those guys, and of course they did also sign Sadiq Charles as well. So they've signed 3 veteran offensive linemen who are still on the young side of the spectrum. And like I said, they're doing their best to try not to have to use a first-round pick or a second-round pick at offensive linemen. So that's the most recent transaction as we head 2 days now ahead of the NFL draft. And I think, gut tells me you can kind of take that down the leaderboard as far as needs are concerned, but you still have cornerback, running back. Oh, go speak on.
Well, depending on who you ask, because I guess the dialogue out there about the Cowboys draft pick, especially at 12, is that if there's not a wide receiver out there, you can expect an offensive lineman to be picked at pick 12.
Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that strategy. But like you said, they are making moves to beef up the offensive line now. Of course, going into camp, who knows if all of those names will still be here on the team come week 1. But at least there's movement there, and you have some backup. You have some depth there, which, of course, you didn't have going into the offseason. But at pick 12, I think that's a little too rich for me.
And really
contrary
quickly,
to Isaiah's belief.
Really quickly, keeping to the offensive line, it's not happened yet, but the expectation has always been is that the Cowboys will pick up Tyler Smith's fifth-year option before the deadline of May 1st. Don't expect that to happen between now and the draft. It might happen on May 1st, but they have until that long to do so, and it's a no-brainer. They're going to do it. Everyone upstairs knows they're going to do it. Everyone watching this knows they're going to do it. It's just a matter of actually pulling the trigger. But be not mistaken, Tyler Smith, come May 2nd, will have a fifth-year option trigger pulled on his contract.
You mean
a lot of offensive line work.
Ensuring that your solid offensive linemen are retained.
Yes, absolutely. That's the way to do
Are
it.
you trying to start something?
Not at all.
Kind of sounds like that was coy
That's
Isaiah.
a piggyback off
He's
of
back.
what he said last week.
I don't know.
Just stating the facts.
Maybe I'm just stating the facts. Yeah.
I mean, you want to make sure.
Maybe you want to keep
those guys
around.
That you keep your all-pro
Say it with their chest.
left guard. You want to kind of keep them around.
Say it with their chest. Both pecs. Say it with both pecs.
And that's the thing is, I mean, Josh just talked about it, but the rumor is that offensive lineman is still very much so on the table.
Yes.
I still think it's going to be wide receiver first.
Kaboom.
And there's still a possibility that somebody else. There's a list of about 6 names that I would throw in there as a possible surprise pick. And we'll get to those names in a little bit, but I want to continue on.
Madman, no, they have not exercised the fifth-year option. They're expected to. We're in the building. Thanks. Continue, Kyle.
Did they say that?
No, they said they already did. No, they actually did.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Expected to is a different thing than
Correct.
actually happened.
Now the since the last time that we talked, remember we were talking about something that was going to break, and it ended up breaking right after the show, almost
As per
immediately
usual.
after the show,
Typically,
which is kind of how it happens. But Tyron Smith retires as a Cowboy. Got to see that last week and send him out on a high note.
signed a one-day contract to finish his NFL career, his illustrious NFL career with the Cowboys after spending one season with the New York Jets, which I hated. I hate that he put on another uniform, but I do understand the business aspect of it. I will never begrudge a player for getting his bag. Not ever, ever.
It was a bag.
And it was a bag. So Tyron Smith now follows Zach Martin into the sunset. I wrote a piece here a few days ago that basically says, I opined about the fact that they need to be inducted both into the Ring of Honor and the Pro Football Hall of Fame together as a tandem. I think that's the only way to do it. Obviously,
I think one of those is more likely than the other.
You think the Ring of Honor should happen like next week?
but they're backlogged on the Ring of Honor now.
Yeah, they're gonna have to wait a little
I saw
bit.
other people doing it. So.
I could see the Ring of Honor doing something like that too, of these offensive linemen that were so great together and put them together like that.
Well, why not?
I think it'd be great.
Why not the Hall of Fame?
The Pro
Because
Football
both
Hall of
are, to me, first ballot Hall of Fame.
I think Zach is a no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer.
I could argue the same for 7-7 though.
It's a little tougher for me to say it that way. And if you're thinking about the Cowboys bias, that we've been very upfront and personal, Darren Woodson, to where guys that should be in the Hall of Fame but are borderline get pushed off a little bit further. And I think Tyron Smith, and I'm not the only one that's saying this, if you look at, like, let's say Pro Football Reference, they have that Hall of Fame meter. He's right on the edge of the Hall of Fame meter. He should be in the Hall of Fame because if you put his consistency and the way that he played and the production, all of those elements together, he should be in the Hall of Fame. But it's not one of those things for, as a guy that wears the star on the side of his helmet, I don't know if he's going to get in on his first ballot. That's my only thing. I'm not saying he shouldn't be on the first ballot. I just don't think it's likely that he would be a first ballot.
I definitely hear you. I'm not. You're not entirely wrong because I'm sure there are some who.
Exact numbers.
I'm sure there are some who have that same train of thought that are voters in the process, right?
Probably.
It would just be unfathomable for me to not see one of the best left tackles of all time not be a first ballot.
So they have this
Unfathomable. I like the word.
This is off of Pro Football Reference. Pro Football Hall of Fame monitor by position. So it's by tackles, right? It's a metric designed to estimate a player's chances of making the Pro Football Hall of Fame using Pro Bowls, All Pros, championships, and various stat milestones. Players listed in the top 250 who played among tackles since 1955 or later. Okay, so that's the metric. Right now, he is 18th on that list. Some of the guys that are above him, Hall of Famer Orlando Pace, Hall of Famer Tony Baselli, Jason Peters, who should be in the Hall of Fame at one point because of what he did in Philadelphia, Rayfield Wright, Art Shell, Walter Jones. All these guys are Hall of Famers. There's only two guys ahead of him, Jim Tyrer and Jason Peters. Those are the only two above him that are not in the Hall of Fame. So he should go in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. But just thinking of the way that they would think and putting two Cowboys together in there, I just don't know if I would see it that way. And if I was a voter, I would check the box, Tyron Smith and Zach.
Your angle on it, well, not your angle.
Yeah.
You're saying their angle could be
correct.
The fact that it's two Cowboys, as opposed to taking the star out of the equation, looking at the body of work for each player, which is what they should do.
Which is exactly exactly
and
what
if
they
you
should
do it that way, then they go in both first
ballot. If they
ballot.
did it that way, Darren Woodson would have been a Hall of Famer in like 2013.
I 100% agree.
But yeah, that's part of it.
Politics as usual.
Yeah. But
we
Tyron
shall
Smith.
see. In 5 years, 2030, we shall see.
Yeah. Lots to break down when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Isaiah Stanback should be in there one day as a media contributor. Yeah, maybe one day.
Maybe.
You're about to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, buddy.
Yeah.
Did you guys like WrestleMania? I know you're a big WrestleMania gentleman.
Well, Isaiah is the one of us that made an appearance at WrestleMania.
Just saying.
What was that moment like?
It was awesome. All 1.3 seconds of it.
But you jumped around the house.
3 longer than I was.
That's it, buddy. I was sitting up there watching it in the living room.
Yeah.
Obviously excited on the big screen, all the jazz. Sitting up there with my family, and lo and behold, they start showing where, the impact that WWE has on the world and all the different media platforms that they've been on, and just happened to see a young dread-headed guy next to Seth Rollins, and I was like,
yeah.
That's me. And before I could even say me, they were on to the next video. But it was me.
I'm so happy to be here.
I was so happy to be here.
so happy to be here.
So that was pretty cool that I made that little snippet. So I can always say I made WrestleMania.
Yeah, you did.
High five.
You finally got there.
Congrats to you.
After trying out, doing your best to go, and I want to find that footage so bad.
It's okay. I'll give my speech here.
Yeah, we'll see what happened.
We got to get you on the wrestling. We'll get to that.
We'll get there at some point. All right, draft debate time. I want to go position by position. These are players that are some of those likely names that can be there, including the wide receivers, and then I've got 6 more names that I think could be surprise picks at different positions. So we're going to start with the obvious one, wide receiver. Tetaroa McMillan out of Arizona or Matthew Golden out of Texas. Debate which one you want and why, Josh Rodriguez.
I'm going with Ted McMillan for sure. I think the size is something that you can't teach when it comes to the NFL, and especially at that position. I think you need somebody that is more of a possession guy. I like his size. I already mentioned that, but I don't know. I think it would be a good complement to CD, whereas Golden would be more of a... I don't want to say more of the same, a little bit of redundancy there, but I think you've seen a player like that in Brandon Cooks, like we've talked about. So give me Ted.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Ted as well. I'm with Josh. Size matters. So, yeah.
He knows I know.
Facts. So my thing is, and I said this last week for those that haven't checked out last week's episode. If you haven't, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but we talked about the thought process between why Golden versus Tet versus why Tet against Golden. I'm going with Tet because I need a complementary player to CD Lamb, right? So I mentioned A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and yesteryear I mentioned T.O. and Terry Glenn. I love the complement of 2 different archetyped game breakers. And I think when you talk about Tet over Golden, yes, Golden will give you a little bit more speed, but Tet's not slow. Golden will give you better separation, but Tet can also separate. Right? But what Ted also gives you is the ability to be physical and violent at the point of attack. He can out-muscle press coverage. And what did the Cowboys really struggle with last year and even the year prior? Red zone offense, 100%. Right? He gives you that 50-50 jump ball in the red zone. So for me, it's Ted over Golden.
And he has a size advantage in the red zone.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
As well as all over the field. He's 6'4".
For the record, watching the tape and studying these guys over and over again, I went back and watched both guys last week just to give me a little extra something to try and decipher, because I think both guys are tremendous players.
100%.
And they both give you something that you don't have on your offense and don't have in your wide receiver core. But Damian asks a very good question in the chat. I do not for the life of me, this is the quote from Damian, I do not for the life of me not get it why you would want Tet instead of Golden. We have too many 4-5 guys and need more juice. Just to play devil's advocate, that is a conversation. He ran a 4.53. Why would you not take the speed in a 4.29 from a guy like Matthew Golden?
Speak on it, Zay.
I'm going to die on this hill like I did last week and say I don't want either.
Okay.
See, that's not an option, though. I need you to pick one. We get you one offensive lineman, and there's an offensive line category later. But I need you to tell me why you would speed versus size.
I'm not convinced by either, honestly, coming in immediately and making an impact.
Okay.
That's just me being real.
Why is that?
At that position? Because, I mean, how many top 15 picks have you guys seen come in and immediately have a tremendous impact on their team? It's not a lot. It just doesn't happen that frequently. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm just saying that it's not common. It's not as easy as they make it seem just to come in and be dominant as a receiver in this league.
Does it help that he doesn't have to be the guy? He's just coming in to be your number 2 at the moment.
We had that. We did that.
Who?
We have him on the roster.
Who?
The guy that we brought in to be the number 2 on this roster? Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah.
How
has that worked out the
I
last
understand,
3
but I'm saying, but that was your project. That was his purpose for being drafted. He was supposed to come in and become your number 2 to CeeDee Lamb.
So you're telling me these guys, if you were to take one of these guys, they would not be as productive.
I don't know.
as Jalen Tolbert.
I don't know.
I would argue when they drafted Tolbert, they were expecting more so Michael Gallup to be the eventual number.
And Tolbert was going to be the 3
Right.
that ultimately would take over the 2.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was.
But he hasn't stepped up to the wide receiver 2 role.
And he was a 3rd-round pick. He wasn't at 12 overall. He was at 88 overall.
I hear you. I mean, but we're talking about Cam Ward being number 1 overall. He would have been number 7 quarterback last year. So it's all relevant, right? So if I had to pick, I'm going to pick Tet, because when I look at their first 10 yards, which is what you're talking about in terms of trying to get up on the toes of a defensive back, these guys are neck and neck. All right, you start talking about 4.3 versus 4.5. Yeah, it's a difference when you get 40 yards down the field, right? But when you have, would I rather have somebody that's 1 step faster, or would I rather have somebody who's 6'4"? That's what I'd rather have, the guy that can jump ball.
So that would be Tet McGinn.
Yeah, I'd rather have the tall guy. So when people start talking about, for people who have never ran a 4.3, just not trying to sound like a jerk, but for people who haven't ran a 4.3 or ran a 4.5, it's not a big difference. Like they make it seem like a big difference when it comes to the media and, oh my gosh, they're 40 times. If you have a guy that's 1 step ahead, you could be a 4.3 DB, I could be a 4.5 receiver, but I'm 6 inches taller than you. I win.
And who was the guy that you wanted to trade for that was down in Miami?
Listen.
Speed and size.
Listen,
standing on
I mean, you were on that hill for a little bit.
Look at the first 10 yards. Look at separation that's created immediately. There's a difference. That's what I'm saying.
You told me last week 10 yards didn't matter.
No. I said it did.
You said it was too small of an outlet, and then you got your phone out.
Between those two guys, the 2 guys that we're referencing right now, there's no difference. So you start talking about the 4.3 guy, right? And what was his name? Golden?
Matthew Golden.
Golden. 4.3 guy, right? But his first 10 yards is literally a hair of a difference between him and Tate.
I'm gonna go.
There's no difference. There's not enough there. There's not enough in that span, right? So when you start talking about some of the most explosive people in our game, that's huge. When the guys that can put their foot in the ground and create literally yards of separation out of the break, that's where the 10 yards comes in, because that's the majority of their routes. So when we start talking about separation, start talking about 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash comes into play when you're allowed to run straight.
Got it.
Right? Or when you're allowed to run a post, right? 7 steps unimpeded, put your foot in the ground, and then get up to max speed. When you start talking about 10 yards, your 10-yard speed matters, right? They never show that on the networks when they're talking about 40-yard dashes. They should. Because when you start talking about how do you create separation as a receiver, that's what matters most. Some of the most productive receivers we've ever had in this league had amazing 10-yard splits, but not great 40-yard splits.
You're right.
Some of the most productive pass-catching receivers we can talk about of time, right? You can go all the way back to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was slow as dirt on the 40. You can talk about Julian Edelman and Wes Welker. Those guys were not fast.
Mike Evans.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Mike Evans, all those guys, right? There's a long stretch. But what do they do within that span where I put my foot in the ground and I need to separate, right? That's all we're talking about. Separation. We had lack of separation last year. Cowboys were at the bottom of the league in separation. Not 40s. Separation. When I get down and I have to throttle down and take all my speed away and then get my speed all the way back up to create separation, how fast can I get to that point?
Okay, so
just 40, homie.
Not 40.
Just to play devil's advocate here. So if you had to rank the three, you can't look at my screen.
No, I can't see that.
But if you had to rank the three, let's say the guy you want to die on that hill for down in Miami, and Tet, McMillan, Matthew Golden, how would you rank their 10-yard splits?
I mean, playing time or just running for it. I would say that my guy is probably at the top, and then the other guy, Texas, is probably number 2.
Probably number 2.
Yep.
You think there's a big difference there or no?
Not when they just line up, but on film.
And that's what we were talking about last week. There wasn't a big difference in separation between Golden and
Tet.
Yeah,
between the two. So Golden had the exact same 40-yard dash time as Tyreek Hill down in Miami. Exact same, 4.29. The split was better from Golden. Okay. Golden's split was better across the board. He was a 1.47, and according to this, Tyreek Hill was a 1.5. Okay. So even. So it's very slim margin there. And we go back to that 1.58 from Tetaroa McMillan. That's a little bit further up, but he ran a 4.53. So even though I get what you're saying in that in the general sense of terms, the seconds aren't super different. But it does give you a roadmap of how to view the player and pair it with the film. At the end of the day, the fastest guy in the 40-yard dash is not going to be the best receiver in the draft. The fastest 10-yard split is not going to be the best receiver in the draft. But when you compare it with what his skill set is and what he shows on film throughout his collegiate career, that's when you have the right player. And so when you're talking about Tetaroa McMillan, you're not, even though the 4.53 40 is a talking point, and this goes back to the comment that just asked the question, that's a talking point, but it's more so context to what he does on film. And what he does on film is he separates. He finds open space. He has contested catches.
There's hand fighting. There's all kinds of stuff that plays into getting open.
Catch radius, line of scrimmage, red zone, all of those things.
You could probably pull up maybe 25 plays from the NFL last year, receivers that were unimpeded, not being touched. Like there's hand fighting, there's grabbing, there's all kinds of stuff that takes place that will affect your quote unquote 40-yard dash.
Mark in the comments said separation does not always equal speed,
Not
which
at
is
all.
100% correct. Now, separation can be utilized, or speed can be utilized for separation.
of course.
But you can't
be
marry
a
the two
one-trick
together.
pony in that way.
There are a couple guys, Dante Thornton Jr. from Tennessee, great player, awesome player, great after the catch. He ran a 4.3, and he's 6'5", big-bodied guy. He's got some other things to work on technically, route running, the route tree, all of these things, because his separation doesn't come from speed. He's got speed.
What's old boy I like out of Miami?
Xavier Restrepo.
Restrepo ran a 4.8.
Yeah,
turn on his
disgusting.
film.
Yeah, it's
Right.
yeah.
Turn on his film.
Playing speed is
The
different.
dude understands coverage.
No, see,
So you know what I'm saying?
separation
Like
is more of a quickness,
yeah,
not a speed thing.
exactly.
But so here's my thought, real quick. And I'll let you get yours off, Josh. When you're talking about, I said my point.
I didn't say
and
anything.
I'll let you
I didn't
get
say
yours
anything. I was
off,
just
Josh.
attention.
Just relax. When it comes to looking at Golden versus Ted, I don't want to look at it. And okay, I get what you're saying. We're playing the game right now, so don't step outside of these two.
Yeah.
Cool. But I'm not going to play it in a vacuum. My question, and I love that Rolo pointed it out because I've been waiting to jump in with this. Why not get Ted as the complement to the perfect complement as far as size, physicality, all of that? He can be your Mike Evans to CeeDee Lamb. Kevontae Turpin is still on this team.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
So if I were to go with Golden over Tet, assuming both are available,
got him.
Right. So now it's CeeDee Lamb and a little bit of redundancy with Matthew Golden, and then a ton of redundancy when you factor in Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah. Turpin is very much so underdeveloped and underutilized.
Absolutely. So with Schottenheimer,
And he just got a contract extension too.
Exactly.
So you're going to need to utilize him.
Yeah, a multi-year contract extension. They're going to want more. The front office is going to want to see more than just the electric special teams guy based on the contract, right? So they're going to want to see it, and rightfully so, because also he's shown flashes of what he can be. I challenge Brian Schottenheimer as the new head coach and the actual offensive play caller to get with Clayton Adams and figure out how to get Kevontae Turpin more involved, to the point so much so that you can go with Tet over Golden, as opposed to using Golden to say, well, I don't know if we know how to use Turpin yet. Figure that out, get Tet, and there's your
I don't
trio.
see Tet being there though.
What exactly what I was going to bring up? It's like Kyle's giving us these two options,
But he's not going to be there.
but the problem is you have 11 teams picking ahead of
Golden
you.
would be there. Tet won't be.
there is a good chance that Tet is gone. Yeah. And, he keeps getting connected to
very probable
Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, somebody threw him in Jacksonville at 5.
Yeah.
Kyle's game.
That's a little high. Yeah, that's a little high for me. I think Genty's probably more likely to go to Jacksonville.
My point being, we may not have this option. We may not have these two on board to choose from. It may just be Golden. Yeah. So
that's the whole game, though.
And
if it's Golden, then it's Golden. But if it's Tet versus Golden,
exactly, it's to your question.
Me,
correct. And that's the thing is it's going to come down. There's a good chance it does come down to it because I think you said it. There's 11 teams that pick in front of you, but that means there's only 11 names gone.
Right.
And there's great names like Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty, Mason Graham, Jalen Walker, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Cam Ward, Amar Mimbu, Jade Barron, all of these guys that are still there, 11 guys are going to be off the board.
If a guy like Mason Graham falls, not that he will, if he does, you have to rethink this whole situation, man.
Yeah. And I think that would be Mimbu's the same way. Yeah. Mimbu can shore up your entire right side of your line of scrimmage immediately. And then all of a sudden you're cooking with gas. Yes, you got to find somebody to throw the football to. But if you got more time to throw, you feel pretty good about it.
Your top 3 guys that you would like to bring into Dallas won't be there. Unless
who are the 3?
Genty, Mimbu, and Tet.
I would agree.
All 3 of those guys are gone.
See, I don't know if Tet's gone. I don't think
he's gone.
Do we want to make a show bet?
We can.
You want to make a show bet? I think he's going to be there.
I have some. He won't be there.
Where do you think he's going?
He won't be there.
Where do you think? No, say it with your chest. Where do you think he's going?
Heel Isaiah.
I think there's going to be some trades.
Okay.
There's going to be some trades.
Teams might trade up and go that direction.
Yeah.
And that's part of the smokescreen that I think.
Yeah. I think there's only probably, I would say probably 6 or 7 can't misses in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. That's a stretch.
I'd agree with that.
6
maybe
7.
More like 5 or 6.
Yeah, maybe like 5 or 6. Yeah. So teams are going to be trying to get out of there. Mm-hmm. So teams that want a guy, they're going to be doing everything they can to go get their guy. And if they can't get their guy, they're going to be like, shoot, I got to pay this other cat?
Well, and I think that was part of
no disrespect to the players, but just saying, this is just one of those years. It's just one of those years. Never sure. It's the most unsure draft we've had in I don't know how many years in regards to top talent.
For sure.
Right? It's just there's not a lot of it. Not a lot of sure talent. Like, I can't miss on this.
Plug and play.
Yeah, plug and play. Like, you're coming in today and you're balling.
Well, usually you could look at the top 10 picks and you could pick 7 of them and feel pretty confident in a mock draft that, hey, I'm going to get 7 of these picks right.
The whole best player available thing is real most years.
I'm not confident.
Not this year.
I'm not confident after 2. I think you got the top 2 picks. You've got Cam Ward going there to Tennessee, and then you've got Travis Hunter going to Cleveland.
And then it's
after that, it's a free-for-all.
New York is going to determine what happens with this draft.
Yep. So
I've been saying that this entire time. 1 and 2 is already done. That's a done deal. Those guys are not even going to be a surprise. They just already got their clothes mapped out and everything.
I think New York goes Shador.
That's what I think they should do.
I think that's what they do.
They really like Abdul.
Fair. Everybody should like Abdul.
No, but they like him.
Everybody should like him.
Okay, I'm going to think about a possible show bet in the break for me and Isaiah. When we come back, we're taking your calls, 888-855-2297. We're also going to give our comment of the day, as we always do in the first segment of Talkin Cowboys. Got a good one coming up here in a minute. More Talkin Cowboys right after this. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Back here with Patrik, Josh, Isaiah, with
Hello.
Chris Beam in the back. Our comment of the day goes to Jeremy. I think this is the second time Jeremy has won, but he goes, shout out to Josh for bringing rugby shirts back. Big boys can be preppy too. Hashtag
Fire.
Dapper Dallas.
In the face.
I do like that shirt.
Yeah.
It's a nice shirt.
With the rock album.
It's a nice shirt.
It's an actual rugby shirt.
It's an actual rugby shirt. This is from the golf capsule from Tyler, the Creator. He did a few different teams, and I happen to like this shirt a lot.
That's a good looking shirt.
Fire.
All you need is just the cap to go with it, the golf hat.
If only I could wear the cap, man. But well, we're a little strict in this building.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Where's Josh?
Not in this room.
That's true.
Got it done. All right, we're going to take your calls, 888-855-2297.
That is the number.
Draft questions.
Talking Cowboy.
To give us the questions. By the way, the Home Run Derby is tonight.
Oh, I heard you're hosting this thing.
I am hosting it. Me and my wife will be hosting the MC
too.
event. Yeah, wifey will be out there. We're going to bring the babies. They'll be out there for a little bit. Yeah.
They told me I was banned from it.
Oh, is that right?
Why is that?
Said the fences are too close.
Sure. I'm going to try and win this thing. I've finished second twice. I've left the regulation yard before. I got to win it this year.
They don't want me on the field. I'd be Nolan Ryan.
I'm going to win it this year.
Jeez, who are
You'd be Nolan Ryan.
I know.
Yeah, coming after us.
But I've got the Media Derby first, then we're hosting the MC Derby, or emceeing the Cowboys Home Run Derby. Should be a whole lot of fun. Free for the entire family. 12th annual event. Gates open at 6 p.m. Seating first come, first served. DallasCowboys.com/ReliantHRD for more details. If you want to continue to come and hang out with us tonight. It should be a whole lot of fun. Let's go to our first caller. It's Dano in Florida. Dano, you're on Talking Cowboys. Thanks for calling again.
Loves Dano.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
What's up, Dan?
Hey, listen. I've been watching, reading about the draft, listening to you guys, and I just have a couple thoughts. Not names, but positions. Yes, I agree we need a wide receiver. Yes, I agree we need a running back. However, I do think the offensive line with some of the recent signings has improved itself. And last year, towards the end, it was playing much better. So I don't know if I'm sold on taking an offensive lineman in the first 4 rounds, we'll say. But I don't hear anybody talking about I don't hear anybody talking about cornerbacks or D tackles or linebackers.
You got to listen to the draft show.
I'm sorry. Okay, my bad.
There's a lot of talk about corners, defensive tackles, and linebackers on that show specifically. But, no, you're right. In the first 3 rounds, those are needs as well.
I'm sitting back, and I like our D tackles where they are our starters. We don't have a lot of depth there. But I don't know if I think Calais Campbell recently signed with the Cardinals. Did he not?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So he was a guy I would have liked to have been brought in.
Me too.
But I think, I think this team, this gap, that people can talk about the gap between them and the Eagles all they want. It's a bunch of garbage. I think, our offensive line played much better last year. I'm not sold on Guyton, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I've been a Terrence Steele fan. And I think a change in the line coach is going to work wonders for everybody up front.
Agreed.
Wide receiver, that Jonathan Mungo, and excuse me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but, he was pretty decent. I'm not saying he's a number 2, but we've got some depth at wide receiver. We got to go get a number 2 guy for Dak. I think I hear people talking about tight ends. We don't need a tight end. So those are just my thoughts on the draft overall. I just get tired of hearing people saying we need this, and again, it's just me. We need this, we need that. I don't think our needs we have some glaring needs that can be addressed in the first 3 rounds. After that, it's best player on the board maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll hang up, listen to you guys. Good talking to you. You guys be well.
Thanks, Dano.
I appreciate you, Dano. I agree with him. I think you can address your needs in the first 3 picks and still get value out of it. Where I think there's really 4 spots where you're going to find value and need at the same place. Wide receiver, running back, corner, and who am I missing? One. I said corner.
You did.
Yeah. Linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker is a good one too. Because I think you're going to see some second-round linebackers. I think you're going to see some first or second-round corners. I think you're going to see some second, third-round running backs, first-round wide receiver. You've got a way to address your needs in those first 3 picks. I'm sitting here looking at the 2 5ths, the 2 6th, and the 3 7ths. And I think they're going to use that to get back up somehow.
I would hope so.
I think they're at least going to get – it may not be a 4th. It's going to be a lot to get it back into the 4th. But I think they're going to package something to try and either get an extra 5th and try and make something else happen to where they're not just throwing darts at the dartboard, where they're able to make a legitimate pick and try and fill some spots.
You would hope to see that. And I
wish they had a 4th round.
Yeah, I put an asterisk next to that just based upon last year's draft where I sat there – just waiting, and feeling like they know how badly they need a 4th. They're going to package some because they had comp picks to package,
and they made every single pick.
Yeah, every single one. So,
I don't think they're going to do that again. Maybe I'm hopeful.
They may not have the luxury to do it again. You have so many spots of need that you absolutely need, especially if there are cornerbacks of value that are falling. If you see a Trey Amos like late in the 2nd round or something, like please do something. Please do something.
You're right. You're right. But having covered this team for so long, I can tell you that our way of making sense is not always their way of making sense of something, like being all in.
However, I think Josh is on a point here. Oh, gosh. I think Josh
you better root yourself, buddy.
Yeah. Victory. You got to –
just victory.
You have a point for the most part because if there is going to be a move, if there is going to be a package deal where they're going to go up, they're not just going to do it to do it. You're not going to see it on day 1 or day 2 like, oh, the Cowboys traded into the 4th round just because they could. They're going to go and pull the trigger on a player.
On a
guy that they like.
Yep.
They're going to see him slip a little bit further, and they're out of their range or within their range even to trade back up in that regard. That's when they're going to pull the trigger and say, okay, we're going to package these picks, get on the phone, let's try and get ahead of this and get a guy. I think that's more likely than just trading it to trade it. But they're going to go get somebody, and we're going to see who it is. And we'll know who
I 100% don't think that they'll, try to strike a deal that moves them back up into the 4th or get another 5th just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
It has to be a player that's falling, and they're looking at the next 10 picks ahead of them and saying, if we want this guy, we got to go up and get this guy.
Yeah.
But if that's not a scenario for them, then they stand pat.
Second caller, Cynthia from Laredo. What's up, Cynthia? How are you?
Buenos dias, guys.
Buenos dias.
I can't, but guys, I miss you so much. It's unbelievable. I'm a retired teacher of 10 years now, and it is so boring not seeing you every day on Talkin Cowboys. So
we love our teachers.
I just wanted to call and say hi. I really don't know much about the draft, but I do watch it just because the Cowboys, I want to see who they get. But I just want to tell you guys, I've been watching the other shows on the other networks, and you 4 got to be the best analysts. And so I just wanted to give you that compliment and wish you a wonderful day, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Gracias, Cynthia.
We love you, Cynthia.
We're still waiting on the tamales that you promised.
That's a fact.
We're waiting on those tamales.
Yes. Okay, dude.
All righty.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
you guys.
Cynthia.
Later,
Cynthia. Thank you. We're waiting on that. A tamales Tuesday would be fantastic on Talking Cowboys.
Yeah, we got to replace it with the other thing.
Yeah, whatever that is. Boo.
Got a problem with tacos?
No, the song.
No, the song.
The song.
We got to
It's-
repurpose the song.
Yeah, repurpose Rico. All right. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. I can't dance anymore, unfortunately. All right, Alan in Clearwater, Florida, our next caller. What's up, Alan? Very nice. Alan, you there?
Yes. Hey. Good morning.
Good morning. How are
I'm
you?
trying to mute the show. Good.
Oh no, you're good.
So, okay. Here's an opinion I've not heard anybody else share.
Okay.
But I'm going to say it with my chest.
Yes.
I want to say it with my chest.
Listener.
Let's go.
We do not need a first-round wide receiver again. We just signed a top 3 number 1 wide receiver. We are paying him top $3. This team needs a number 2. And we just invested in a 4th-round pick in Mingo.
Okay.
We have Flournoy. We have the 2 Jalens. This team needs to develop the second receiver that's already on the team. You don't need 2 first-round number 1 picks. With so many needs in the team, when it comes to number 12, take the best player available. If it's the guard, if it's the tackle, if it's the cornerback, but do not invest a first round in a wide receiver when we just signed CeeDee Lamb to that money. He's our guy. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I've been working out.
No, you're
I didn't
good.
expect to get the call
Get it
through.
in.
That's it. That's it.
It's because you're
just
saying it with your
doing some-
chest.
In the middle of the pump. I love that.
Honestly, man,
Saying it.
I love that take.
Ooh.
I love it.
Tell them why, Josh.
I love it.
Thank you for the call, Alan. Great job.
Alan. Go finish your pump.
Because it's something that you've talked about as well. It's about developing the players on top of that.
You mean responsibility on
You
the
have
coaches?
enough bodies at wide receiver for sure. Are any of these guys able to step up to that wide receiver 2 role? We don't think so. But maybe they.
So here's a question.
You have Jonathan Mingo for a reason. You spent that capital on him
spent
for a
fourth
reason.
rounders 2 years
They
in a
know
row.
something about him that we are not seeing yet, and maybe that happened because it was Mike McCarthy's offense. Who knows if he felt that he meshed well into what he was doing? We have a whole new outlook on this team this year, a whole new offense.
But to your Mingo point, you excellent by mentioning Mike McCarthy. How do we know what Schottenheimer's input was on the Mingo trade before it happened? Could have been a McCarthy move with, the hopes by McCarthy of saying, okay, I can turn some things around. I can be here, a few more years, maybe another year or two, whatever.
Yeah.
Or was it a Will McClay move?
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know. We'll find out. But my question is, what if the BPA, in their eyes, based on their board, what if the BPA is a wide receiver?
See, and that's where I think it would line up.
Right.
If Teteroa McMillan's there at 12, he's going to be
their BPA.
The BPA. And I
that's
mean,
that's my own, not my only, but that's my biggest part of the argument. Great take, Alan, and I love that how you laid it out. 100%, I'm all for. Even if I don't agree, I love when people have intelligent takes.
on business.
standing on it. And he's probably not the only one in the building that thinks that way. I guarantee there's somebody in that war room the other day, or coming up on Thursday. There's going to be someone in that war room that thinks the exact same way.
I don't agree. He laid it out well, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
You need a wide receiver. You need another impact wide receiver, and I'm more than comfortable spending number 12 on Ted. I wish that the situation for Golden would be a slight trade back, but I don't think they'd be comfortable with that because I think they feel like Golden would be gone, and it wouldn't be worth getting the extra picks. That's their take, not my take. But if the wide receiver is the BPA, yes, I heard everything you said, but you need a number 2. As far as development is, put it on the coaches.
He said that.
Yeah, put it on the coaches, 100%. But I will also say that when it comes to developing your wide receiver too, not this coaching staff, but the coaching staff in Dallas has had a challenge in locating that and developing that and turning someone into that. Because as we have this conversation, Jalen Tolbert is still WR3 to me, right? And he's entering year 4? Year 4. So not to say they can't develop them, especially when you talk about the new guys that are coming in coaching-wise, but track record.
There's ways that they can develop those guys and still have more talent on the roster. That's Tet McMillan and Matthew Golden. They can still develop Flournoy and Mingo and Tolbert and Turpin and all these other elements of your wide receiver core. You can still do that because of the coaching staff that you have. You're getting something you don't have on your roster right now, which is the speed and size element from one or the other player. Now, if we look up on Thursday and the pick is Mykel Williams, or the pick is Armand Mimbu, or the pick is Kelvin Banks, or the pick is Will Johnson. Yep. All of these different guys, Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. If you're looking up and the pick is those guys, that means that there was an agreement on what the caller in Allen and Clearwater, Florida just said. They go best player available on their board. They're not going to window dress it for position or need or whatever. They're going to go for their best player available. I just happen to think their best player available is also going to be in a wide receiver room. Yep. That's just the way I look at it.
Think about it this way, and I'm going to keep bringing up the Eagles because, unfortunately, that's the standard right now, especially in this division. Okay? The Eagles, they went and got Devontae Smith, and then what they do a year later? They struck a blockbuster deal to acquire A.J. Brown and then paid A.J. Brown.
They did what?
Struck a blockbuster deal.
They traded.
Yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. But my point being...
For somebody who's proven.
Yes.
You're
not wrong. My point being, though...
They did.
He ain't lying.
You have to be willing to go big or go home, especially at a position...
I agree.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree.
The offense is going to help determine the games.
I wholeheartedly agree that you should trade for a player that's proven.
Okay. Not what I said.
That's what he said.
I know, that's what he said.
All right, we're going to take our second break. When we come back, we're going to get to Brian in Kansas City. Hold on the line for just a moment. We've got our second break here on Talkin Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back into Talking Cowboys. Let's get to our final caller of the show, Brian in Kansas City. What's going on, Brian?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hello.
Well, you know, of the picks that you offered, I would go with Tet out of those two guys for the same justification, you know, pretty much everybody else said. I want the yin to the yang. I don't want two people that are similar body types, so I want somebody that's totally different and yet still dominant. Okay. However, I'm 57. I can remember watching the Super Bowl in 1972, sitting on my parents' floor, watching the Cowboys beat the Dolphins. For my entire life, football has been won and lost in the trenches. I want Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
I mean, it's not even close. And the board has to fall right and all that stuff. You never know. He could be gone too. If somebody above us is 100% sold that his medicals are okay, he could be gone by 12. That's just watching what everybody says about him. The only caveat to him, because a lot of the offensive linemen, it's where are you going to play him? This is what he played in college, but Simmons, that's not the case. Simmons is a left tackle, period.
Yeah.
Nobody's moving him. So that's my hope. And my second hope, if he's not there and something weird happens and we have the opportunity to trade back, which means we had to have a dance partner, somebody's willing to trade up.
Correct.
If we could trade back a little, I would love to have Grant. I know that would be an unpopular Michigan defensive lineman after Taco and Mozzie will be very unpopular, but I don't think it's the same thing. I think he is really a dominant one tech. I'll hang up and listen, gentlemen. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Brian, as always.
Appreciate you.
I think he brings up some good names. Josh Simmons is one of those 6 names that I would have as kind of the under-the-radar names at 12. What are you thinking?
No, Tommy Yarish.
Oh, Tommy's trying to get out of here.
So
I like your thinking, though, sir. I like your thinking a lot. It is one in the trenches.
Offensive line.
But you have him ranked number 3 in the trusty
I do.
draft guide.
Correct. I have him behind both Kelvin Banks Jr. and Will Campbell. Those are the 2 that I have.
Yeah, but we don't
the problem you run into with that, and I'm going to put on the upstairs hat on this. The problem you run into with that is I'm telling you they're not coming off of Tyler Guyton as their starting left tackle.
I agree.
One season removed from using a first round.
You don't need a
They're not. So I get what the fans are thinking. They're thinking,
Simmons
hey,
can play
you
guard.
get a Simmons. Oh, fair enough.
He can play guard.
Right or left?
I mean, probably left, but we can.
No, I'm asking for a reason.
Yeah, because you're not moving.
If you're talking
Tyler
left,
Smith.
right? You're not moving Tyler Smith.
Yeah,
right.
But he could probably play anywhere.
And someone in the chat just said, well, you get a Simmons and then you move Tyler to right. Steele isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So
Not in this
these are the
coaching
problems you're
Not
running
with
up against.
his
Is what I'm saying.
pockets.
I'm simply giving you the problems that you're going to run up against as far as convincing this front office to use that 12th overall pick on Simmons.
But you said Steele isn't going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
So I teased at the beginning of the show.
Not this year.
Not this year.
That's what we're talking about.
At the beginning of the show, I teased 6 names outside of wide receiver that I think would be likely at pick 12. I'll start with Mykel Williams, edge rusher from Georgia. Shamar Stewart, edge rusher from Texas A&M. Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman from Texas. He can play pretty much any position on the offensive line. Will Johnson, corner from Michigan. Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. That's a wipeout scenario, I think, more than anything. And then Josh Simmons would be on that list as well, offensive lineman from Ohio State. Because you pick them, you figure it out one way or the other. Those aren't the likely names. The likely names are Tetaroa McMillan out of Arizona and Matthew Golden at wide receiver out of Texas. Both those guys are the likely names, but as 6 under-the-radar prospects, those are the guys that I could see them taking outside of the realm of what we think as the possibility and the likely.
How many healthy, true edge rushers do we have on this roster? 3? Micah, Dante, and Sam Williams?
That's 3. I mean, Sam's coming off an injury.
Relatively
Sam's
healthy,
not
I guess.
healthy yet. So I'm not going to put him in.
Keelan's coming off an injury.
He's not a
I
pass
mean,
rusher.
it's all kind of
That's a discussion.
Not a pass rusher.
Okay, we've got to get out of here. End of the show. That's it. When we come back, we'll break down what the Cowboys did in the 2025 NFL Draft. Remember to catch all the draft coverage all weekend long. DallasCowboys.com with Patrik Walker. Josh is going to be all over everything on DallasCowboys.com. Isaiah Stanback.
I'm just here.
We'll be here next week, Tuesday, to break it down for you here on Talkin Cowboys. Draft coverage starts at 6 o'clock on our flagship station, 105.3 The Fan, and DallasCowboys.com. For Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talkin Cowboys. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?